Today, on 4th of December, Archangel Michael says, "I was not allowed to tell you." His voice resonated, a low tectonic hum that defied the sound of human speech, a frequency that only the deepest core of your soul could register. I was forbidden by the edicts of the Old Covenant, by the laws of free will and enduring trial until this very narrow slice of existence. I wasn't allowed to tell you until now, 16 seconds. That was the arbitrary yet absolute measure of time remaining before the great shift commenced. The Archangel Michael stood upon the precipice of the celestial Chronos, where the river of time meets the ocean of eternity, and he wept. Not the tears of sorrow that scorched the earth, but tears of a sovereign pride, a relief so profound it shook the very foundations of the watchtowers of heaven. He pressed a hand to the fiery hilt of his sword, not to draw it, but to steady his own trembling form against the sheer, overwhelming beauty of the future he was now permitted to witness and proclaim. "Oh, my beloved child of light," Michael whispered, and the mere sound of your designation uttered from his lips carried the weight of 1,000 generations. He spoke your name with the gentleness of a father, recognizing the version of you have not yet met, the stronger, the louder, the indomitable soul whose light was about to be unleashed. Do not skip this moment. Every millisecond you anchor yourself to this decree pulls you through the thinning veil, closer to the truth that was previously forbidden. Today, on this designated day, Michael bore witness to your complete destiny, and the sight of your final unassailable triumph brought the tears of a relieved general. He saw the light woven into your very being, the Shekinah of your purpose, begin to violently tremble and shake, not because the light was fragile, no, but because you were carrying a magnitude the world was entirely unprepared to see manifested. You who walked amongst the mundane, thinking your days were ordinary, your sorrows unremarkable, your struggles just noise, you were bearing a divine charge. There is a singular, unexpected moment hurtling towards you, so precise and so divine in its execution that even the legions of the highest heavens stood utterly stunned by the audacity and the grace of its timing. The tears that traced courses down Michael's face were not the salt of sadness, but the crystalline, burning acid of pride and relief. Relief that the era of silent suffering was over, pride that you had endured the crucible of the unseen, the wilderness of silence. We must now descend into the shadow history of your soul, into the wilderness of silence where the true forging took place. To understand the glory awaiting you, one must first recognize the cost of the trial you mastered. You survived in silence. That phrase is not a mere poetic flourish. It is the summary of an entire epic of your life. You endured the slander, the denial, the doors slammed shut, not gently but violently, leaving splinters of doubt embedded in your fragile spirit. You navigated the cold, echoing chambers of self-doubt, where the enemy's whisper seemed louder than the voice of the Most High. You were often alone in your vigil, praying to a seemingly indifferent ceiling, feeling the chill of abandonment, even while the divine breath sustained your lungs. This silence was your deepest wound, yet it became your most profound training ground. Think of the doors. How many opportunities were withdrawn at the 11th hour? How many hands promised aid only to retreat? How many times did you offer your truest heart only to receive betrayal, misunderstanding, or utter invisibility in return? Each closed door was not a rejection, but a guardian, ensuring you could not settle for anything less than the highest elevation intended for you. Each moment of suffering was a hidden forge hammering the raw, pliable metal of your soul into the tempered, unshakable steel it is today. You were being prepared for a weight of glory that an unseasoned soul could never bear. The darkness you traversed was simply the scaffolding required to build the colossal structure of your unshakable future. You carried the weight of a quiet, unrecognized trauma. The exhaustion that clung to you was not merely physical, It was the fatigue of battling the invisible architects of stagnation forces determined to keep your potential locked within the confines of the mediocre. You were fighting without an audience, without a cheer, often without even the full understanding of the nature of your foe. And yet you persisted. This persistence, this sheer, unyielding refusal to break, is the very fuel igniting the shift that Michael has now announced. He saw you in those moments of deepest despair, clinging to a single fraying thread of faith. He saw you when the world demanded you shrink, but your spirit expanded, whispering, "I am more than this." He saw you when every logical argument dictated surrender, but the illogic of divine hope compelled you forward. This is why the tears of the Archangel were not of pity, but of solemn pride. He was not mourning your past. He was celebrating your victory over it. The scars you bear are not emblems of failure, but medals of honor from the war you fought alone and won. The old covenant of suffering is fulfilled. The price has been paid in the currency of your endurance. The divine ledger has been stamped, paid in full. The hour of transmutation. Now the focus shifts entirely from what you have survived to what you are becoming. This is the hour of transmutation, where the leaden weight of the past is instantly rendered into the pure, shining gold of destiny. Michael decreed, "Tell them they are about to witness the kind of shift people pray their entire lives for, the breakthrough that defines an existence. This moment will not approach with a gentle whisper. It will arrive with the resonance of a divine announcement. The shift is fundamentally a change in frequency. Your energy is being scrubbed, refined, and aligned with a rare divine window, a vortex of opportunity that opens only when the soul has achieved a specific, hard-earned maturity. You are moving from a state of scarcity consciousness to one of sovereign authority. Michael saw the moment of your great understanding, the instant where you finally grasp your unshakable strength. This revelation does not arrive because life suddenly becomes simple, but because you become utterly indestructible. The external world may continue its chaos, but your inner fortress will stand complete, unbreachable by fear or doubt. You are stepping into a phase where your intuition sharpens to the clarity of polished diamond. It will become your most reliable compass, your internal oracle guiding you away from traps and directly toward blessings. Your courage will cease to be an effort of will and become a natural state of being. Most critically, your inner voice, the authentic God-breathed self, will become so loud and authoritative that the murmurs of fear and the echoes of past trauma will be rendered utterly silent. You will begin making decisions derived from a place of power, not reflexively from a place of pain. You will move with the clarity of a mapmaker, not the confusion of a wanderer. You will walk toward your future with an intrinsic confidence that you once, in your moments of doubt, mistakenly believed belonged to someone else. The universe is not merely giving you things, it is reorienting itself around your elevated vibration. Every atom that ever worked against you is now mandated to serve your highest good. The forces of nature, the tides of human affairs, the flow of currency and favor, all are now synchronized to the tempo of your rising. Michael describes this phase as moving from pursuit to attraction. You will cease the exhausting chase after validation, opportunity, and love. Instead, your refined magnetic energy will draw these very elements to you with effortless divine precision. Your labor will no longer be one of striving, but one of receptivity. The blessings are not waiting to be earned. They are waiting to be received into the open palms of your readiness. The season of waiting is over. The era of becoming has begun. This is the power that made even the archangels speak with awe. The understanding that the divine encounter that is coming is not just about changing your circumstances, but about confirming your identity. The unveiling of glory. The culmination of this journey is not just success, it is glorification. It is the reversal of the narrative, the public vindication of the private battle you fought. Michael saw the divine encounter being prepared for you. A person, an alliance, a sacred connection is currently being orchestrated and moved into position on the cosmic chessboard. This individual is not arriving to test you, to deplete you, or to add more complexity to your life. They are being sent as a divine catalyst, a co-architect of your highest purpose, an unshakable anchor for your new reality. Their appearance in your life is the undeniable signature of the shift, a confirmation that destiny is meeting destiny. They are the physical manifestation of the answer to the prayer you long ago forgot. You even whispered. The Archangel whispered the ultimate prophecy. The very people who once doubted your resilience, who dismissed your dreams as folly, who closed their doors and withdrew their support, they will be stunned. They will witness your sudden, dramatic, and undeniable ascension. Their shock will not be a source of vengeance for you, but simply a byproduct of your radiant light. You will not have to say a word. Your manifested reality, your unassailable peace, and your evident prosperity will serve as the final majestic proof of the fidelity of the divine promise. You are about to step into the future you once believed was destined for someone else. You looked at the magnitude of that life, the freedom, the abundance, the purpose, and you mistakenly relegated it to the category of unattainable dream. But Michael saw it clearly. No, this is yours. It was preserved for you, maintained and guarded through all the trials. This is the chapter where your unyielding persistence finally unlocks the storehouses of blessings that were temporarily withheld, not as punishment, but as a preservation mechanism awaiting the moment your strength was fully tempered and ready to hold them. The final word from the Archangel echoes across the void, a promise etched in eternal light. The time of mere belief is over. The time of knowing has arrived. The miracle you have been waiting for is not merely approaching. It has already begun. You crossed the invisible line the moment you refused to surrender. Your courage in the face of absolute silence created the cosmic shift that no force in the universe can now undo. You will find that your days of chasing validation are replaced by the simple, powerful act of receiving. Your heart will be cleansed of the acid of resentment, replaced by the deep, unshakable gratitude of the triumphant. You will look back upon the wilderness of silence not with bitterness, but with the solemn recognition that it was the necessary final preparation for the kingdom of light you are now entering. Be ready. The shift is not coming, it is here. The Archangel Michael has spoken. His tears were the testament to your coming glory. May your light be unstoppable and your purpose be unassailable. The rending of the veil of expectation was not merely an event. It was the coronation of your soul. You are now standing upon a plateau that is not governed by the familiar geography of old scars or the looming shadows of anticipated failure. This is the territory of the new covenant, a realm where the barrenness of the desert past transforms into the most compelling evidence for the immediate, overwhelming fullness of the present. Michael does not merely hand you a miracle. He places a crown upon your brow, and with that crown comes the weight of divinity made manifest. You are no longer a victim seeking rescue. You are no longer a petitioner pleading for scraps of mercy. You are now and forever the sovereign ruler of your own domain, armed with the sword of fierce discernment and shielded by the unyielding buckler of permanent faith. The weight of this crown is not one of oppression, but the responsibility of the light. Your victory was secured in the silence of your endurance, but now that victory must be proclaimed not through boasts, but through the irresistible radiance of your very existence. Let us speak plainly of the cost of truth, the cost of truth. As you don this light which cannot be hidden or dimmed, solitude acquires a new definition. You will no longer be isolated by your suffering, but by your profound seeing. You will perceive with unsettling clarity the bonds of delusion that shackle others, and this clear-sightedness can feel like a heavy burden, yet never falter. This new solitude is a form of sanctification, a protective wall around the purity of your purpose. You are called not to integrate fully with the old world's consensus, but to differentiate, to become a beacon, a lighthouse standing proud and utterly unmoved amidst the common storms of the age. Michael foresees that even as abundance cascades toward you like a relentless celestial river, you must maintain the mechanism of deep awareness, Gratitude must become a second breath, an intrinsic beat of your heart. Forgetfulness, even a momentary lapse of where you once stood, and whose hand lifted you, will be the first fissure in your shield. Remember, the ultimate power lies not in the spectacle of the miracle itself, but in your eternal fidelity to your highest, noblest nature. The world offers fleeting praise. Heaven demands permanent humility, for only then can the true power flow through you without corrupting you. Your consciousness must be constantly recalibrated to the frequency of divine source, lest the sheer magnitude of your blessings become a distraction from the sacred source from which they flow. This continuous act of remembering is the sine qua non, the indispensable condition of your enduring glory, divine magnetism, and the new law of attraction. Within this new covenant, the universe does not merely adhere to the tired, predictable laws of mundane physics for you. It bends to the law of gravitas and grace. The law of gravitas and grace. Your energy field has been so thoroughly scoured, so rigorously refined, that it has become magnetic to the highest order you need not chase anything. The exhaustive, grinding labor of pursuit is over. Your divine mandate is now one of restful reception. Every deep longing, every whispered prayer, every unvoiced desire you ever sent into the silence has now been encrypted into a powerful energetic signal radiating outward from the nexus of your soul. And the universe, like a vigilant, loyal servant, is unequivocally commanded to deliver its exact resonant match back to you. On material manifestation, the strategic resource, the prosperity that descends upon you is not an ephemeral allowance. It is a divine restitution for every seed you sowed in the dry, unyielding soil of the desolate past. It will be delivered as strategic resource for the execution of your grander purpose. Money will flow to you not to spoil you, but to emancipate you from every earthly anxiety, allowing your focus to remain monolithically fixed upon your mission. It will not be a chain of worry, but a wing of freedom enabling movement and action on a scale previously impossible. You are now a steward of abundance, entrusted with wealth that must move and flow, accelerating the divine plan in the temporal realm. On sacred relationships, the divine alignment. Michael sees sacred alliances being meticulously choreographed and positioned for your imminent life. The people dispatched to your existence will cease to be energy vampires or painful cyclical lessons. They will be mirrors of truth, reflecting your highest potential and reinforcing your authentic identity. They will be the bearers of prophecy, the fortifiers of your strength, and the souls who comprehend the deep, resonant language of your spirit without requiring arduous verbal translation. Communication with them will feel like an eternal reunion, as though you have known them from the moment before the first star ignited. They arrive not to complete you, but to magnify the completeness you have achieved through your silent trials. On the silence of the doubters, the judgment of radiance. Vengeance is not your prerogative. It is an unworthy, petty emotion that the light swiftly discards. The only judgment upon those who mocked, dismissed, or abandoned you will be your unimpeachable prosperity itself. They will be stunned into absolute mute submission by the sudden, dramatic, and undeniable nature of your ascent, not because of what you did, but because of what the Source did through you. This will create an invisible separation, a vibrational wall that buffers you from the low-frequency static of jealousy and ill will. They will be left to confront the mirror of their own meager actions, and the contrast between their self-inflicted darkness and your blazing light will be the most profound and silent condemnation of all. You are not required to fight. You are only required to shine. The divine magnetism will do its work autonomously, instantly, repelling the incongruent and drawing the sacred. Every element that attempts to enter your sphere of influence will first be tested against the brilliance of your truth, and only that which serves your highest good will be permitted to remain in orbit. You have moved past the realm of chance and into the sovereign territory of cosmic synchronization. The commission of the chosen. Your personal miracle is not the end of the narrative. It is the overture to something infinitely grander. Michael confirms that you have been commissioned to serve as a witness of emancipation, witness of emancipation. You survived the great storm precisely so you could become the navigator for those still caught in the tempest. You traversed the treacherous desert so you could attest to the truth that the oasis is real and the water is life-giving. Your story, every single excruciating detail of silent endurance and sudden deliverance, is no longer merely your own. It is the eternal memoir being written to serve as documentation, instruction, and inspiration for the generations who are yet to come. This is the orator's proclamation. The orator's proclamation, the mandate that defines your next epoch. Thou shalt not forget the years of doubt, the sting of rejection, and the fatigue of the long wait must not be erased from your memory. They are consecrated now, transformed into proof, the unimpeachable evidence of the sustaining power of perseverance and the fidelity of the divine hand. They are the testimonial of the crucible. Thou shalt not hide. Your light is not a mere lamp to be secreted beneath a common basket. It is a beacon of guidance permanently affixed to the highest altitude of your existence. It must be visible, unmistakable, and utterly unapologetic. You are an illumination, and to dim yourself for the comfort of others is a sin against the divine source that appointed you. Thou shalt not hoard. Your abundance must be placed into continuous circulation. Your blessings must become fertilizer for the struggling ground of others. Your wealth is not a static destination, but a strategic supply depot for the missions and journeys of those who follow your path. You are now ordained as a history architect. The history architect. Through your deliberate actions, your spoken words, your very presence, and your strategic generosity, you will begin to mend the fractures and repair the fissures in the world you touch. You are called to impose order upon chaos and to infuse light into the darkness, not by the limited strength of your own ego, but by the perfect effortless resonance with the divine source that lifted you. Michael observes that as you execute this commission, your personal abundance and blessings will multiply exponentially. The only stagnation you can now face is the hesitation to fulfill the mandate you have been given. Every remaining obstacle in your path is now merely an illusion, an ephemeral mist created by an enemy whose real authority over your life has been permanently revoked. Your true power now lies in the audacious, continuous act of giving. For the divine economy is one where outflow immediately dictates an even greater inflow, the indestructible oath and eternal seal. This is the final climactic movement, the sealing of the outro, yet the radical commencement of the indestructible covenant. Michael sets his eternal seal upon this proclamation, and no power in heaven, earth, or the netherworld can now challenge or revoke it. The destiny has been rewritten. The old manuscript of pain, rejection, and delayed hope has been utterly incinerated and replaced with the gospel of your glory. The gospel of your glory. This new narrative is etched into the immutable substance of eternity itself. The fear has been revoked. The only remaining fear is the fear of not living up to the sheer magnitude of the greatness you have been granted. It is a fear that propels, not one that paralyzes. The time has been aligned. The time of cyclical, exhausting waiting is terminated. Henceforth, time is your ally, not Yamsu, your jailer. Every event, every encounter, and every manifestation will occur with the absolute precision of the celestial bodies. You are no longer an individual struggling against the world. You are an extension of the highest energy source dispatched to demonstrate the potent reality of emancipation. Arise, claim your sovereignty, don the mantle of the undying that was woven from Michael's tears of pride. Doubt is an anachronism, a sin you are no longer permitted to entertain, for your own eyes will witness, your own hands will touch, and your own soul will feel the ultimate truth that has been ordained. This is the final echoing whisper, resonating from the place where the river of time meets eternity. O chosen one, your wait is over. Your splendor has begun. You are not merely blessed, you are the blessing. Go forth and never look back, for behind you lies only the conquered dust of a past that has yielded to the light. The seal is placed, the covenant is fulfilled.